Oh baby, we're back with Battlefield. It's like a warm and cozy blanket at the end of a cold and rainy day. You know, you get home, you're soaked, you get into some dry clothes, maybe make something to drink, and then you wrap that comforting blankie all over your shoulders and everything is made good again. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is LtBuzzLitebeer, and yeah, I've been neglecting my Battlefield coverage as after that insane push to get the channel up to 100,000 subscribers, I truthfully just needed a break. But I am back and covering the franchise I have been a part of since Battlefield 1942. If you liked the video, make sure to smash that big, beautiful subscribe button and ring the bell to stay up to date on all my latest uploads. Every time I boot up Steam and look at my library, I am met with the Battlefield 2042 game emblem, and I just can't bring myself to press play. Now, I've been following the game over these past months. I've seen the updates, the coverage, the latest and greatest, but for me, you know that old saying, you only get one chance to make a good first impression? Well, yeah, that kind of sums up 2042 for me. I've heard it's made progress. There are apparently new classes, seasons, maps. Mouse input seems to be getting better, but 2042 attempted to do me so wrong from the minute it launched, I just kind of swore it off and moved on. I took a look at the Steam charts prior to this recording, and 2042 was in the upper 6,000s concurrent players worldwide. Now keep in mind that is on Steam only, and in comparison, Battlefield 1 was pretty much neck and neck with 2042 for players, while Battlefield 5, another Battlefield game I just couldn't get into, was at nearly 10,000 concurrent players. Quickly jumping off topic, but doesn't Battlefield 1 still look just so damn good? I tell you what, this game runs like a champ on PC. I am maxed out on full 4K ultra settings and capped at something like 120 FPS, and damn if this game doesn't almost always stay pegged on that frame rate. Sure, the gameplay and movement is a bit lethargic when compared to that of Battlefield 4, and the weapon customization is virtually non-existent with the skins you unlock, and that damn puzzle piece system is just freaking infuriating, but the game still hits like a 2-ton jackhammer. Same with 4, and when I can find servers, Battlefield 3, my personal favorite. Now, my only real gripe with Battlefield 1, and this is also very prevalent with Battlefield 5, is the lack of anti-cheat. I try to stick to clan servers these days because, at least with those, there are usually admins on duty who will kick anyone using blatant cheats. Speaking of which, I caught another one today in an official EA server. I of course reported them, as when I went into spectator mode, they were aimbotting and wall-banging like a pro. I have to check, but I think Marcus Leto follows me over on Twitter, and if he ever does hear this mention and everything I'm about to discuss, please take all of this to heart. Now, I see him posting from time to time asking the community what they want to see in a Battlefield game, and besides the obvious answer, Battlefield 4.5, it really comes down to some glaring issues within the franchise. Of course, I'm speaking of 2042 here. First off, I don't know how much of that game was ever greenlit. Specialist grappling hooks and wingsuits. I once read a comment that summed it all up perfectly over on Twitter, and it said something like, if we wanted all that crap, we would play Overwatch, which echoes how I feel, and I would guess a majority of the player base feels as well. But, and I'm sorry if I'm going to jump off on a tangent here, but one of the points I wanted to make is that for both Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5, these games were missing any anti-cheat detection, or even the basic ability to vote to kick. Now, I've spoken on this before, but I truly feel that there are way more players out there that use some form of software on PC, usually tuned down to avoid detection, as every player is not as brazen as the one I mentioned from this morning. Now, I don't know if EA was trying to save a penny by not installing it into the game, but Battlefield 1 and 5 are the Wild West when it comes to hackers out in the open and wrecking servers. So, one of my huge must-haves for any Battlefield installment from here on is competent anti-cheat and vote to kick. I'm going to switch gears back over to 2042 and more the current cycle of Battlefield, but we're going to let this close quarters footage I grabbed on Fort de Vaux, whatever, I'm probably butchering this pronunciation. Anyway, we're going to let this footage keep playing. I've seen that the franchise finally realized that not including a full campaign and replacing it with Hazard Zone was a big mistake, and that Leto and his new studio, Ridgeline Games, is busy developing that facet for the next installment of Battlefield. I've also seen Season 2, Master of Arms, is currently live, and not without drama, as the Liquidators event seems to have serious programming issues, along with bonkers weapon balancing issues. Listen, I'm glad they are still working on the project. I'm speaking of 2042, but it all kind of feels for naught. Know what I mean? You don't need to look further than the player counts. And when Battlefield 1, a game that came out 6 years ago, is basically tied with the latest addition to the franchise for concurrent players, that should be a huge indicator of how well 2042 is faring. Now, hopefully DICE, Ripple Effect, Ridgeline Games, whoever they've got working on the next Battlefield game can look back on 2042, evaluate all the bad decisions, and then make equally good reversals for those poor choices. For instance, and this seems to be a trend in the modern shooter arena, but the scoreboard, or in the case of 2042, lack of a scoreboard for quite a while, even when it was installed into the game, it is still missing vital information like your kills and your deaths. Who knows, maybe EA is trying not to offend anybody. I really can't answer for them on this omission. But these kind of stats are not only important to players that enjoy the game, but they are also vital for honing in on cheaters. 2042 still doesn't show KD ratio per player, and it doesn't have kill cams, so it makes the online arena ripe for the plunder for cheaters. Sorry, I'm not trying to make this video all about cheaters, but it's becoming such a commonplace reality with modern online gaming, and your only real protection is to attend LAN events on studio-provided hardware. Now, wow, I recently watched at-home versus on-LAN footage of several players from the Modern Warfare Next event, and woohoo! Some of these players were exposed as they play like gods on their own home setups, but when on LAN hardware, they showed their true colors. Not mentioning names here, but damn, if you do some simple YouTube searches, the before and after footage is insanely different. Sorry, my thoughts were all over the place on this one, but there you go, DICE and possibly Marcus if you watch this one. Battlefield 4.5 with a credible and intense anti-cheat system, a full single-player campaign, real classes, interesting maps, a huge selection of weapons. That's what we want. They've got the knowledge, they understand what has to be done. Now the only question is, will it be done? As always, I look forward to your feedback on this one. Remember to smash that big, beautiful subscribe button and ring the bell to stay up to date on all my latest uploads. If you could take a few seconds more to rate and or share this video, it would be greatly appreciated. Remember, you can find and follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and over on my community Discord server. Links to all my socials can be found in the video description below. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer signing off.